But I will never say I will convert a church to anything. It's not your business when you are in government.
Going to convert any church to anything. I've not heard that, except nobody said they were going to convert any church to anything.
Yeah, I am a workaholic. Workaholic. But you know what? Prayer is my power. Because you can work all this work, but you are not progressing. You don't have the right to come out and say you will convert. You will convert. If anybody wants to be praying all his life, it's nobody's business.
Yes. So this is what I is that you have a right to pray, but if they can remove your body, some of the things that you pray for, you don't need to pray for them. You can pray for others. That's it. That's what the whole thing. But continue this conversation.
Yes. We live largely in a very unproductive society. That's why the only thing that is attractive here is politics and church. You need to dismantle it. And we're going to turn night vigil into night shifts so people can be productive. I go to church, I believe in God.
Yes.
But we cannot have people Monday to Friday be in church morning and night. No. If I go from here now to my house, the only signboard you see is signboard of churches. That's not the country. If you go to any other country, you see product.
Yes. So please, we should encourage more prayers. Because if we have genuine men of God, genuine Christians, genuine Muslims, our problem will be solved.
Okay.
Not less of it.
Hi guys, welcome back to BattaBox. Thank you for joining me today. So Keneth Okonkwo has gone out again to further criticize the position of Peter Obi on the statement of Night Vigil. If you guys recall, Peter Obi had come out at the Honest Bunch podcast and made the statement that he will dismantle churches. He's going to turn night vigils into night shifts. So I came out and I gave my opinion. A lot of you were like, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not making sense. He was with Aisyha. So this is courtesy Aisyha Live of today.
Now, the people are looking for capable people, competent people, and they are looking for people of character. But let me say this. I do not belong to the category of people who said they want to turn night vigil to night shift. No. What we are suffering in Nigeria is not too much church or too much mosque. As a matter of fact, I wish that the church and the mosque should be in every house in Nigeria. What we are suffering from is too much fake church, too much fake pastors, too much fake imams, too much fake mosques. If we had genuine churches and mosques, we will not be having the problem we have in Nigeria. I'll give you an example. In the olden days, the most efficient president known in the ancient world was a prophet of God. His name is Prophet Daniel. Prophet Daniel was employed because he had the knowledge, the skill in arts, in science. And in addition, he was a man of God who had understanding of visions and dreams. Prophet Daniel prayed not less than 3 times a day. Yet, it did not stop him from being efficient in his work. Let me tell you something about being close to God. Prayer. And if you're genuine in the worship of God and prayer and closeness to God helps you to be more efficient in your work. Because you will be morally sound and do everything in the fear of God. Before I became very close to God, I was a night crooner. And one of the most popular nightclubs in Lagos was called Night Shift. So I had to turn my own night shift to night vigil to begin to acquire the level of wisdom and understanding that is helping me now to be efficient and effective in the work I do. Daniel served 4 kings and all of them put him as president. Meanwhile, he was a slave boy captured from Judea and taken to Babylon. And they said because of his commitment to efficiency, honesty, and skill of doing his work, that he was 10 times more knowledgeable than all the men in the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar. And that was why he lifted him up. Now, look at this. Do you know that people became jealous of him, the indigenous, and they conspired against him? And they say, we can't find corruption in this man. We can't find anything to hold against him. The only thing we can hold against him is against his God and his religion. And they said, we know that he prays every time. If we can make it illegal, that prayer will become illegal. We will catch him. And they deceived the king. And the king made a law, you cannot pray for 1 month. And Daniel went ahead and continued praying and continued doing night vigil. And they went and arrested him and put him in the lion's den. Do you know the king did not know that they were targeting Daniel? Do you know when they put Daniel in the lion's den, the king himself observed night vigil for Daniel, and the mouth of the lions were shut. And the next day in the morning, they went, and Daniel said God sent his angels to close the mouth of the lions. And they brought him out. And those people that said they should put him in the lion's den, they put those ones in the lion's den, and the lion ate all of them up. There is a place for prayer. It does not stop you from being efficient in your work. It helps you to be efficient. But let me point out, I always point out criminality, immorality, and illegality anywhere it is found, whether in the church or in the mosque.
Hello, I hope it's not my network.
That is our problem. Our problem is hypocrisy, is psychopathy, is corruption, is illegality, it's criminality, and it's incompetence. So please, we should encourage more prayers, because if we have genuine men of God, genuine Christians, genuine Muslims, our problem will be solved.
Okay.
Not less of it.
Oh, okay. So let me quickly address that issue of night vigil and night shift, because for my own understanding of it, I am an employer of labor, and I've come across a lot of people who will leave the office and tell you they are going for one thing or the other. Or some of them, even during interviews, they will tell you, oh, on Wednesdays we don't come for work, on these days we don't do this, or one thing. The issue of Daniel that you did mention, Daniel did not allow his prayers to affect his job. That's the big difference. A lot of people go on these things and they allow it to affect their jobs. Like I remember tweeting that I said, look, if you are working for me as an employee, you are going to pray. Okay, there was someone who said that, oh, Muslims pray 5 times a day. And I said, you're working for me and you're praying 5 times a day. God knows God is going to be the one to pay your salary. Definitely not me, because you won't be working for me again. So that's where the difference is. It's not, yes, people need to pray more. Leaders that will pray more help. But where you are allowing your prayers have left your private business and you're not affecting the business of others, it is no longer what we will take as saying, oh, this is what people will do. The same thing also when it comes to these churches. You did mention it's we have a lot of fake imams and fake pastors. I totally agree with you on that one. But because of the fact that there is incentive for that fakeness, and that's why you have a lot of these mosques and a lot of these churches all over the place. Everybody wants to get money. I mean, the easiest way to get people's 10% is by opening a church. And you have something there. The easiest way that you have people will come and be meeting you to give you sadaqah, give you all sorts of money, is by becoming a malam, having your turban and stuff like that. So that's where the difference is. So if you keep your prayers, your everything private, then it doesn't have to affect the national issue that we have. And that was what Daniel was able to do, in spite of the fact that he was someone who was very religious, but at the same time, he was someone also who was able to make his religion his private issues while he was managing the public interest that he was managing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
I see you. And I'll bring
Yes,
in
let me first of all say that I agree with you completely in what you say. And if anybody who is working for you and during working hours, he tells you he wants to pray, please sack that person immediately. Anybody who is supposed to be reading his books and he's telling us that he is reading his Bible or Quran, he will go to the school and fail woefully. So I want you to understand the difference. The difference is that the Bible says they that should worship God should worship him in truth and in spirit. Anybody who is telling you he wants to pray when he's supposed to work is a hypocrite. He's not a prayer warrior. Because prayer is meant to help you to be more efficient in your workplace, not to become a truant. That person that is telling you that his prayer does not cross ceiling, because you will not use the time you're paid for, where you're getting your source of livelihood, to say you're praying. No. Aisha, please, this thing I'm going to say, I don't know whether it is true or not. I want to talk about Islam, so you will correct me on that. But I know that some of my friends in Islam have told me that the prophet recognized that at times it might be impossible for you to pray. And then you will shift it. And when it is possible for you to pray, you will now pray for those ones you did not pray before. I don't know whether it is true or not. But I know, because I read theology and I've discussed with my friends. So I will tell you this story. When Jesus Christ was alive, people went to him and they want to implicate him. And they asked him, shall we pay taxes to Caesar? And Jesus Christ said, where is the coin that you used to pay the tax? And they gave him the coin. And he said, whose inscription is this? And they said, Caesar. Then he said, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar, and unto God the things that are God's. A religious leader is telling you by implication, you must pay your tax to government. You must do your duty to government, but you must do your duty to God. So what I'm telling you is that a leader coming out to diminish the importance of prayer, or saying you're going to convert church to anything, that is wrong. Let me give you an example again. In the ancient world, a king thought he became so powerful, and he converted the vessels that are used for the house of God, and he converted them to be used for nightclub, for night shift. And when he was using it with his family, enjoying himself, a handwriting appeared on the wall. Mene mene tekel ofasen. And they called Daniel to interpret it. He said, the king, you have disrespected God for converting the vessels of God to be used by man. And because you have done that, your kingdom has been numbered and is finished. And that day, they killed that king, and another king took over. We must learn to revere God and revere divine things. Aisyha, with all your overvocabulary, you don't allow men to even touch you or shake you because of your faith. Nobody should come and say that no. You're a fanatic. You should convert that to that unless you became convinced. I do not in any way. Everybody must revere God, revere church, revere any place of worship. And you don't have to come out to use your mouth to say you will convert this to this. No. Question immorality, question criminality. Tell people, do the right thing at the right time. Okay, assuming somebody now comes to tell you that he will convert nightclub to be a church, would you say it is right? Then why would you say you will convert a church to be a nightclub? because your argument is that it's stopping people from working. No, it's not stopping people from working. And thank God they even use the word night vigil. Let me ask, do you work? Do you work in the in the night?
Yeah, let me come in because we are not mentioning him, so I'm not going to mention any name. But I'm sure I also heard someone who said he was going to convert night vigil to night shift, and this is my understanding of it. First of all, an example in terms of when you see people, there are people who are in those in certain places where they're praying, where they look what they are asking for are things that good governors ought to give to them. So in that, this thing is to say, if your intention half of the time that you see people going there and doing everything is, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, which is a transactional relationship with God. If it can be replaced with an unconditional relationship with God, where those things that you are busy begging God for are things that your government can do for you. There's always a context to anything. It's not I don't think the statement from the one that I heard, nobody ever said they were going to change churches should stop or should not do what they're doing. But to say that need that you have to constantly be in the church or the mosque praying on certain things, you will not need to pray for them. We've seen situations whereby people stay, transformer has spoiled, and what they're busy doing is that they're busy praying for it to work. No, you don't need to pray for that. So those night shifts that you feel you have to go to because you're looking for a visa to go to certain countries, meanwhile, there are other countries where you don't even need to have, you don't need visa to go to those places because their economy is already working. So I don't think it's about changing the churches or converting them. But to say when you're going there, it's no longer about transactional relationship with God, where, oh God, I pray, give me this, give me that, and get that. There are some of our mates that are praying for that inner peace, having closer relationship with God. And if they are not praying for 24/7 electricity, they are not traveling and praying that they will not be kidnapped. They are not doing all of this. So if you remove that burden that we need to feel that we have to constantly be in those places praying, that's why for us it's more like showmanship rather than, the actual work, like you've rightly put it earlier on. But you will still come, and if you want to add to it, you will add to it. But there are quite a number of people, and I don't want to keep it too long so that we don't get to a place asking you to come and say we overstayed. I will call on Nkiruka.
Like I said, I told you that there are a lot of fake men of God. You have the right to point out, but you don't have any right whatsoever to say anything to diminish the reverence to God and to divine things. You don't have the right to come out and say you will convert. You will convert. If anybody wants to be praying all his life, it's nobody's business.
Yes. So this is what I is that you have a right to pray, but if they can remove your body, some of the things that you pray for, you don't need to pray for them. You can pray for others. That's it. That's what the whole thing. Aisha, continue this conversation. Yes,
no. Let me make this last point, my dear. Okay. You know what? You made one important point. You said there are certain things the government ought to give us. Thank God you know that those people that are praying are not the government. Let me tell you, without those prayers, 50% or 75% of Nigerians would have been mad. Most times, those prayers are like trying to get hope where there is none. You know, when the government is not giving you anything, you don't know where to get it. You are now attracted to go to church where they will tell you that don't mind, have hope, God will visit you. It helps at least your mental health. So I agree with you that we should walk. As a matter of fact, I am a workaholic. But you know what? Prayer is my power. Because you can walk all this walk, but you are not progressing. I am not the most hardworking. Do you know in the story of the Daniel I gave to you, they were not the only people that had that skill and that knowledge, but it was favor from God that made them to be chosen. Such favors from God come from those night vigils and those prayers. But hear me again. I am talking about genuine men of God, genuine worship of God. I am not talking about what we have, which is criminality, immorality, illegality in the churches and mosques. I call them out. But I will never say I will convert a church to anything. It's not your business when you are in government.
Going to convert any church to anything. I've not heard that, except nobody said they were going to convert any church to anything. It's just a bit of. But anyway, let me go to the just to say that most prayers that we have allow people to abdicate their responsibility. And I know in the Bible it is where they say faith without works is dead. But let me quickly go to
faith without work is dead, being alone. Dead. But so anything you do without faith, anything you do without faith is a sin.
I, for one, believe that Nigeria is a very religious country, and I also continue to maintain that the statements that Peter Obi made cannot be made if it was mosques instead of churches. So would he have made a statement like, I will go ahead and dismantle all the mosques? You know, he wouldn't say that. Or would he even touch the 5 prayers that our Muslim brothers have? So, but again, during the election, he's going to come back and campaign. So again, I'm not against Peter Obi. I'm in support of his movement and what he's doing. It's just, I expect more of a leader to be careful how you speak without offending some people that support you. I know Peter Obi is a diverse candidate and he's not a tribal candidate per se. All walks of life and everybody in Nigeria supports him. But I also think, you know, he should not be speaking a little bit loosely like that. That was my only opinion, and people came after me and against me. But here you see, Barrister Keneth Okonkwo has also affirmed the same thing. In a statement issued on Sunday, November 3rd, Ibrahim Umar, Peter Obi spokesperson, clarified that Obi's message intended to encourage a balanced integration of faith and work in Nigerians' lives. We have been made aware of a significant distortion of Obi's recent media interview, which erroneously claims he called for dismantling of churches in Nigeria, Umar stated, adding that the headline given to the interview twists Obi's word to serve a mischievous agenda. So I played the clip for you in the beginning. That's what he said. It's not like they are making stuff up, or they are trying to twist what he said. And I think as a leader, you have to be very, very careful. I think that people say, well, you need to listen to the full context. But I listen to the full context. And churches is part of what's making Nigeria be together right now. Churches is what people cling onto. If you guys remember, Obama, when he was running, said people cling to their guns and religions. And that's the same thing here. We have nothing to look for, but we can have faith in God. We can believe. We can hope for the future. In other parts of the world, people go into alcohol, drugs, sex, and other vices. But we, I think, in a way, we are clinging on to religion. And religion is all we have. In other places, you see people that are going to gambling. You know, there are different things that people hold on to. Like their soft spots. And it's something that gives them hope. So religion does give Nigeria hope. And sometimes people go and pray, and that gives them hope. So to say that people are clinging to religion and churches in particular, I think is misguided. And also, like in the north, there are not that many churches in the north. But still, the north is even more impoverished than the southern part of Nigeria, where there are churches. So, yes, go ahead and say anti-Obi and all that. But I think Keneth Okonkwo here is on the money. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
BattaBox.